When you're just starting out learning paintless dent removal, one of the first challenges is knowing where to push. Typically when we're carrying out dent repairs, we're looking at the top side of the panel using our reflection, but our tooltip is working from the underside of the panel. So it can be really tricky to know where that tooltip is because you can't see. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a couple of tips to help get you started. So stay tuned. So this is a question I get asked all the time from beginners. How do I know where to push when I can't see my tooltip? So when we carry out paintless dent repairs, we're always working from the top side. Our eyes are this side of the panel, top side of the panel, looking at the distortion in a reflection to help us understand what part of the panel is dented, where the low spots are, where the high spots are. But of course, our tooltip is working from the underside. So we can't see what the tip's doing whilst we're this side of the panel. So to get started, I'm just going to turn my light board on. So this is the side I'm going to be looking at to see the reflection, and then this bottom side, this is where I'm going to be working my tool. So using an S-hook and ring, just clipping to the inside of the panel, and then using this double bend bar. It's a great bar for beginners, strong, double bend, so it gives you plenty of leverage, plenty of strength, and I've just got a soft tip in the end. So that S-hook and ring there, threading my bar through, and that's going to give me my leverage. It's a really good simple bit of kit, and generally I'm looking for roughly halfway along the bar. It's going to give me a nice even leverage. So once I come back into my working position, I'm working top side. I can only see the reflection and the top of the bonnet panel. I can't see the underside or the tooltip. Now I always recommend starting off for beginners to not start with a dent. Now I know when you're learning to fix dents, you think I want to fix a dent, that's the whole point. But I promise you it's so much easier to understand the reflections, get to know kind of the tool and finding that tooltip when you're working on a clean section of panel with no damage. Just keep it simple. So right now I'm applying downward pressure with the handle this way. By putting that pressure down through this leverage point, my tooltip is pushing on the underside of the panel. If I need to move this bar around or adjust my tooltip, I generally use my other hand just to steady the tool, move it around, and you can really start to kind of play with that ideal position. So I'm just using what I call a kind of just bouncing technique. I'm literally bouncing with pressure on that handle. And from this side, which we'll take a look at in a second, I can see my reflection distorting, the lines are pinching together, and that is showing me where my tooltip is. So if I don't think that I'm in the right place, I can adjust, move this around until I'm happy that my tooltip is now pushed in the right position. So right now, using this technique, I can see my tooltip is here. If I want to get it over to here, obviously I need my tooltip to get over there. So I know I'm going to push my bar in and slightly up to the left. So now with my adjustment, I'm pushing here, but I still want to get up to the top. So my tooltip here, and I want to get it a few inches above, I'm going to keep positioning it round. So now I'm here, again a little bit higher, until I get to this spot. Now I've not picked the best day for this demonstration because it's raining. But if you're going to do dent repair outside, especially in the UK, you've got to get used to the rain. So that showed us where our tip was, and it's an easy way to find out where that tooltip is without kind of creating a high spot and then thinking, I was in the wrong place. So that bouncing technique lets you understand where that tooltip is without creating a high spot or putting any distortion in your panel before you're ready to. The other one is very similar, and it's good when you've got a soft tip on like I've got here, but it's about dragging that tool backwards and forwards. So now if I come around to this position, just because I'm right-handed, I can see that my tooltip is here. It's probably you won't be able to see it on camera there. But now instead of just moving my bar, I'm going to gently slide it out, slide it around. And then what you will see is those same lines distorting, but the lines will move around where that tip is. So again, we'll zoom in and we'll take a look. So hopefully now you can see my tip is here. If I'm just dragging it backwards and forwards, hopefully you can pick that up in the reflection and see the lines move. So that's two different techniques to help you find the tip of your tool and kind of understand where and how to push. I always recommend starting without damage on the panel for this exact reason. A lot of the time when beginners get started, they're trying to find the tooltip. They create a bit of pressure to create a high spot, only to discover that a high spot is not where they expected it to be. Their tooltip was in the wrong position. So using a bouncing technique or that kind of dragging technique will help you kind of learn where your tooltip is, understand the length and pressure required for your repair without creating unnecessary damage. It's definitely pissing it down now, so I'm going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you found it useful in terms of a couple of new techniques to help you kind of understand where your tooltip is and how to adjust it to get you into the right position. As always, you can ask me questions or leave any comments below this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next time.